This award recognizes a government official for his or her outstanding contributions to wild sheep at the national level of the country they're from. We started this award in 1979. It's not given every year. In fact, over the past 43 years, it's been given 22 times, so not even half. It has not been presented since 2018. The recipients have included a variety of folks, high-level officials, agencies, organizations, scientists. 43 years ago, this award was first presented to Dr. Valerius Geist, and we all know what a loss with Val's passing we all suffer. Now, for the second time in 43 years, we have another Canadian recipient. Dr. Mary Vanderkop is the Chief Veterinary Officer for the Yukon Territory. She presented this afternoon, but we wanted to recognize her and her team for her efforts. So this summer, I worked with 5 partners on wild sheep conservation in the territory, and we submitted a letter to Kim, and Mary was selected for this award. Mary's academic career and work experience is long-lived, 1976, 45 years, extremely well qualified, masters in 2 different disciplines. She was the first Chief Veterinary Officer for the Yukon and the Director of the Animal Health Unit. She's been in charge of their One Health approach, and today she presented on the legislative framework and recognizing the connection and the link between humans and animals, both domestic and wild. Mary's got a really good perspective on these diseases, and she recognizes that these are people's livelihoods sometimes that are involved. Mary's very results-driven, but she's also very compassionate. In 2015, the Animal Health Unit put out this fact sheet for the Yukon for producers. And then in 2019, the Yukon Control Order came out. And this is a landmark piece of work that has set the stage for many other jurisdictions to follow. In the first year, it found 43% of the domestic sheep tested were positive for MOV, and about 1 in 6 on the domestic goats. All positive animals were either slaughtered or removed from the Yukon Territory. And that took some funds, and it also took some emotional toll. Year 2, 0% positives in domestic sheep, and a much reduced rate in domestic goats. We're waiting on the year 3 results. The Yukon Control Order is scheduled to expire at the end of calendar year 24, so we're working hard to keep this program going because it's done so much for the Yukon. Mary's received numerous awards, including Minister's Awards, scholarships. She's extremely well published and well respected. And capping her 45-year career, we, along with our Yukon Wild Sheep partners, would like to thank and recognize Dr. Mary Vanderkop and her team at the Animal Health Unit for her important efforts to benefit wild sheep in the Yukon and beyond. Due to COVID restrictions, Mary could not be here tonight, although she is zoomed in and watching. So we will present this award in Whitehorse in May at the 3rd Thin Horn Sheep Summit. Please help me congratulate and present the 2022 Wild Sheep Foundation Federal Statesman Award to Dr. Mary Vanderkop of the Yukon.
First of all, thank you, Kevin, and thank you to everyone who voiced support for granting me this award. It's been actually very hard to compose a response because I've truly felt at a loss for words. I'm very honored, and I can only accept really on behalf of the entire team in the Yukon government who contributed to taking what I think is really a bold step and to seeing it through. I think it's actually quite rare that governments can or will take action before a crisis, and that deserves to be acknowledged. There are certain individuals who were instrumental in making this happen. Dan Reynolds comes to mind for one, and stakeholder groups that voiced concern repeatedly, specifically the Wild Sheep Foundation, but also the Yukon Fish and Wildlife Management Board and all of the renewable resource councils in Yukon voiced this call for action. In addition, we had civil servants doing the work to gather what was at the time really quite limited science about the threat to wild sheep. More than that, though, what we ultimately had was a deputy minister, Callum Leary, and an assistant deputy minister, Alan Kaprowski, who supported and advanced the options and my recommendation to two really bold and brave elected ministers. These individuals were prepared to actually put signatures to an order that had implications for industry throughout the Yukon. It was sort of a middle ground, but it really did require sacrifice, mostly on the part of farmers. Money can't compensate for everything, but we have been flexible, fair, and empathetic in how we delivered on that program, and I think that the industry is recognizing that there have been some benefits overall. As I said at the beginning, I'm deeply honored to have received this award, and I do share it with everyone who has made this happen. I hope that in Yukon we've been able to set an example for others to try to find a way to actually work to prevent disease rather than being forced to try to respond after the fact. Thank you again, and I do wish I could have traveled to the conference to enjoy it with you.